Welcome to Energy and Personal Excellence. This is Sachin Karnik. This is an audio book entitled Destroying Gambling Addiction at the Root. This book is created in audio format first, and then a paper version will be created later on. This book is also copyrighted by Sachin J. Karnik and the Energy and Personal Excellence LLC organization. Brief quotations are certainly permissible. If someone wants to use larger quotations, please contact me at sachinkarnik@yahoo.com, SACHINKARNIK@yahoo.com, or contact me at 302-268-4480. I'd be happy to give you permission to use larger sections of this book for reference purposes. To begin with, this human life that we have is an extraordinary phenomenon. It is extraordinary simply because we exist and we have diverse experiences in life. These experiences range from very enjoyable, pleasurable, beneficial even, to extremely damaging, extremely harmful, extremely painful. There's a range of experience. The human mind itself is very, very mysterious. It is a subtle phenomenon, subtle process. There's a process that is subtle that we can call the mind. It is, of course, connected to the brain. And human civilization, historically, has evolved in multiple ways to maximize comfort, enjoyment, pleasure, happiness, convenience, all such phenomena. The drive to maximize these experiences is very much experiential. It's experiential because human beings, as we are, we want more comfortable lives. We want better quality of experience in life, as well as we want comfort, safety, security, all such phenomena, all such things. Hence, it is incumbent upon each individual, irrespective of who that person may be, to reflect upon the mystery of human existence, which is really what the word philosophy means in some ways. It is the love of wisdom. To find wisdom, to find clarity, lucidity, a sense of clear vision is necessary in each human being's life. The subject of the current book is Destroying Gambling Addiction at the Root. We are going to examine this in considerable depth with multiple recordings, multiple audios, probably some videos also. Each of these recordings will be about 14 to 15 minutes in length, and then the sequence of series will continue. So this is the first part 1, and then many more parts are coming up after this. So first of all, I want to thank all of you for taking your precious time to listen to this recording, and it is my humble request and prayer to you that you please take time to reflect on what is being shared with you. It is your own reflection that is going to create transformation within yourself. My attempt to reflect here is also to share with you some of my journey, as well as my training, my study, my research, as well as really try to unfold the mystery of gambling addiction in a way that, contemplating on the ideas presented, and then with some types of more reflective meditations, the addictive process can probably subside substantially. That is the hope. But we will see. Again, this is a conceptual book. To actually have a personal conversation, you are welcome to contact me at 302-268-4480. All right, so let's get started. As I was saying before, this human life that we have is very, very precious. There is a great preciousness in this life. This life is temporary. It is short. It is only for a certain number of years. Some people live 50 years, 60 years, 70, 80. Some people live 20, 30. Nobody knows exactly how much anyone will live. So the first very meaningful and significant truth that is in front of all of us is simply that the amount of time remaining in all of our lives is shrinking day by day, moment by moment. And one day this body will die. One day the body will subside. It will either be cremated or buried or whichever form the ritual is done. That death is a finality. Living in the present is the greatest blessing one may have, if you want to use the word blessing. We can use another word if you don't like that word. We can use another word like it is the greatest gift or greatest even evolutionary phenomena. Whatever your perspective may be, the fact is that we are alive. We are alive, and we are alive because we have energy. Energy is flowing through our mind and our body continuously. Energy is flowing in the outside world. Energy is flowing from the sun. The sun is also a massive chemical reaction. Energy is fundamental to life. In fact, life is energy. Now, one may have some spiritual ideas about a soul or God. We'll get to those later on, what they might be. But before we get to those more esoteric topics that are related to addictions in general, the fact is we have to look at, or we can look at, our own experience in life. So, in examining gambling addiction, we begin with the word gambling. What is this word? What does it mean? Where did it come from? What is the history behind it? Well, again, every culture has a different word for this phenomena. But in a very simple way to understand this, it is a creation of the human mind. The human mind has created what we call gambling. It's been created as an artificial way to exchange money or goods or possessions directly without working for them or some other way like inheriting them. It is very different from working for money. It is exchanging money directly. So for example, if two people are betting with each other on heads and tails, one person A and person B, person A bets heads, person B bets tails, they're betting $50 a piece. So let's say the coin is flipped and then heads comes up, the person betting on heads would win $50, now the person has $100. But the person who lost the 50, what is the feeling in the loss? Much of what will be presented will be the feeling and the experience of the loss and the experience of the win. But before we get to all that, certainly we can see that the activity of betting, like flipping a coin, is an intellectual outgrowth. It is something of the more evolved brain that has come up with this. It has come up with it as a way of directly exchanging goods, products, or money using chance, using the factors of chance, like flipping a coin. And then there's some skill involved, chance and or skill. Every type of chance bet, like the flip of a coin or dice, there's some skill also involved, like throwing the dice or flipping the coin. Even someone sitting at a slot machine would need some skill in pushing a button to spin the wheels. But apart from that, it's all chance. Other bets are more skill oriented. Like if you're riding a horse and you're competing with other people riding a horse, there's less chance factors, although they are there, There's more skill factors. How well you can ride, how well the horse is trained, things like that, how well you're trained. So when we use the word addiction, this word is very broad. It has quite a bit of meaning. But the fact of the matter is that if a person is addicted to whatever, gambling or drugs, alcohol, sexuality, whatever it might be, if there is an addiction, there is a fixation, there is a drive towards it, there is the resurgence again and again of the experience of certain type. It might be pleasure, euphoria, escape, a high of some sort, something that feels very much like a type of freedom. So in many ways, anyone who is engaging in an activity like, let's say the example I gave, somebody flipping a coin and winning $50, that experience is pleasurable, enjoyable. There's also fear present while the bet is being made. So when the coin is being flipped, or even before that, there is the possibility of losing the $50. And then there's the possibility of winning 50. So there's pleasure going on, and the impulse of fear due to uncertainty is also there. This is the central problem in gambling, in any kind of gambling, recreational or whatever it might be. Anyone making a bet of any kind for any reason is going to experience, whether consciously or unconsciously, or mixture of both, is going to experience fear and pleasure simultaneously before a bet is made. Even when a decision to make a bet is made is there. So fear pulls one's core energy. And if a person wins a bet, that fear disappears for that period of time, and there is a euphoria, there's a high, there's an experience of some sort. Again, this is more complex than this, but I'm just putting it this way. So that experience disappears for some time, and that experience is perceived as very enjoyable, or is felt as very enjoyable. In the case of gambling, it is money that is won. It's quick, fast, not earned. And in that situation, there is a great deal of psychological conditioning that occurs with the wins. So when money is won, even sequentially a couple of times or any time, there is the memory of it. And from the memory of it, there arises even more desire to continue further and further. Now, why does that happen? Why does a person want to continue? Because I think the answer is quite obvious. The experience is so compelling that if a person wins $50, they might say, well, I'll even feel even better if I win 200 or 500. And winning money, or with the money that's already been won, is even more euphoric. Someone wins $50 and then they place a $25 bet out of the 50, they win another 25 or 50. So it goes on like that. Essentially, that's the dream of any gambler, really. But particularly the addicted gamblers are specifically looking for further and further enhanced experiences with money that's won. And that's the fantasy world, to take a $100 bill and win 500, and then from that 500 win 1,000, from that 1,000 win 5,000, 5,000 win 10,000. This goes on, and that generates more and more euphoria. Can that happen in gambling? Yes, it can happen. Does it happen for some people? Yes, it does happen. So the desire for further and further wins is what entraps the individual into the addiction. Because there's no way to make the win happen. When a person makes a bet, a person isn't deliberately causing the win to happen. The individual is setting up the possibility of a win or a loss. Okay, I'm going to continue this in our next recording. Thank you.